Welcome to the live session. I can see few people, online. I have just started the live session. I was on the page, but yes, now I've come back on the timeline. So this live session was all about life stories by Ajit. So this is basically a biographical narration, which will talk about wherein I will be telling stories about the unsung heroes, the heroes whose stories have never been told before, the heroes and the sheroes whose stories have never been told before. So I'll be basically talking about this particular concept with 6 main objectives. So the first one is where did this idea come from? So, from probably since my childhood, I have been reading a lot and I've been trying to find out at least few biographies which are not of very famous and super successful people. Because we do get, because we usually find those biographies and read them because we want to have that kind of an inspiration from them, from the challenges they faced and they overcame them and became successful. But every time when I had picked up that book and read that kind of a book, I always used to question myself, can only successful people, super successful people, very famous people, can only they inspire people or motivate people? Or is it that even the lesser known, the common people around us, even they can inspire and motivate people? So that was the reason that I have come up with this concept of life stories by Ajit, wherein I will be publishing through a platform which I'll be just talking about 10 stories in the next 10 months, one story every month. The first story is coming live on that particular blog, that platform. The name of the platform is The Vent Machine, which will be publishing its first story on 25th of December, Christmas. So, you know what? I was talking about the idea of these life stories. So that was basically the reason, because what I feel is that it is not only the people who are very successful, they can only inspire people. There are people around you, me, who on a daily basis inspire and motivate people, but their stories are not written. People don't know about them. Even a lot out of them have been facing a lot of challenges in their life, which might be a kind of a physical challenge. It could be a mental challenge. It could be an emotional challenge. Very grave challenges actually. But they come up beautifully out of that. They come out of that, overcome that, and lead a beautiful life in the mainstream. So, with that thing in my mind, I am starting this, series, which will have 10 stories in the next 10 months. Now, talking about the inspiration behind this particular, series or a concept. So I have been, having this thing in my mind, and the idea was brewing up from a lot number of years, since probably, I realized, you can get motivated through people, through their stories. But, as I said, I could not find any such thing available, even at any of the bookstores. I thought of doing this myself. But yes, why do you don't find it? There is also a reason behind that. The reason is that why will people waste their time, their precious time on writing about people who are not famous? They will write about people who are very famous so that they also become famous. But then I thought the other way around. And so that's the reason that I'm here and talking about this concept called life stories by Ajit. So with that idea in my mind, one day I was in talk with a lot of people about putting this across on some kind of a platform. So I messaged to all my WhatsApp contact after I had a discussion with a lot of people that I'll be coming up with this life stories, and you'll not believe, and I told them that where that platform would be. I received about close to 743 messages, the responses. And out of 2,000 contacts I have, though I would say, about only 15 out of them are good enough, which can be written into a story. But the response was overwhelming. So that response actually motivated me further to go on and begin this project. And that's why I did this in November, and here we are into December, and on 25th December, the first story is being published. So I have met that I'll be meeting those people, the stories, the stories I will be writing, the people I'll be meeting, I'll be interviewing them, I'll be sending a lot of stuff, questions and answers, so that they can give me the answers for those questions, the details which are required for the stories to be written. That's what is going on, and that's almost over for the first story. So the second reason was, while I was doing this, while I was trying to find out a platform to do this, there was one of my friends, I would say it was a recent acquaintance, who had sent me a link of her blog, and the blog's name was The Vent Machine, and this blog belongs to the curator of this blog is Surabhi Pandey, Miss Surabhi Pandey, who happens to be a famous blogger in Singapore. She's from India. And I would tell you where actually I met her. I actually did not meet her personally, but yes, I got to know about her. Because she was there in one of the events wherein, my second book, this book called I Think I Know You, Karunya Do I, was launched, which was launched in January this year, 2018, at the New Delhi World Book Fair. So I could not attend that event. You would be surprised, an author whose book was being launched at such a platform was not present there. Actually, my wife unveiled the book. So she met there, and then we were into interaction. I was in interaction with Surabhi Pandey, and then one fine day when I received this message and I saw this blog and the name of the blog, I really got excited and kind of attracted to the name, The name was The Vent Machine. As I said, the name is Vent Machine. So the reason, primarily the reason why I started out writing was to vent out. So, and the name of this blog, The Vent Machine, actually, struck me real good. And then I started researching a lot. I read a lot of the articles, the posts, and the interviews which Surabhi Pandey has published on her blog, and I found it a real good fit. One, obviously, the title of the blog, the name of the blog. Second, the way this lady conducts herself online, the mannerisms and the thought process behind this particular blog actually excited me to get into a collaboration with this blog, the Vent Machine and Surabhi Pandey. So these are the reasons why I think the Vent Machine is a perfect platform for me, wherein I can publish all these stories. Because somehow I feel that the reason, probably what if I can guess if it is right, is that the curator of this particular blog, Surabhi Pandey, have also started this forum, this particular blog, so that people like her, or probably she and the people like her, can actually vent out through their writing. And that was probably one point wherein my internal wiring got connected with this particular blog and the founder. So primarily, these were the reasons why I think the Vent Machine is a perfect platform to collaborate with. The ideology of that particular platform and the idea behind this story series is, perfectly matching, and so I think a perfect platform to be to launch a particular series like this. Let me just once again check how many of you are actually online. Just be there. So who all are there? Okay, thank you for all of you who are watching this particular live session, the live session about uh, the life stories by Ajit, a series which I'm starting. The first story of that particular series would be published on this Christmas, 25th of December. So I have just spoken about the three reasons because the three objectives because of which I am starting this particular series, the life stories by Ajit. So I was talking about the particular blog, the platform wherein I will be launching this series, the life stories by Ajit, the Vent Machine. So those were the reasons because of which I started, talking to the founder of that particular blog. Now, if I talk about, I would say the fourth objective of this would be that of this particular session is that how Surabhi Pandey, as Surabhi Pandey as the founder of this particular event, this particular blog, and me, how do we come together in empathizing with the world? So what I feel is that we are here on this particular platform. She is writing a blog which is similar to what my thought process about this life stories by Ajit is. So that was the biggest reason why I think that we can together do a lot of, we can bring out a lot of stories which are of lesser known people, the common people who are actually very inspiring, but their stories have never been written. So what I feel is that the concept of this particular series, or the idea behind this series, connects with a lot of people. And the reason is that in this particular time, in the time in which we are living, which is full of various mental pressures, emotional imbalances, and I would say one of the most common disease these days is depression. And if I'm not wrong, if I have read that correctly, there are about 300 people who are suffering from this problem called depression. This is a problem wherein people even go to an extent of becoming suicidal. They have those suicidal tendencies also. And there is a statistic which says there are about 8 lakh people who actually commit suicide every year. And it is the second biggest reason of the deaths the world across. And the most affected lot among them is the age group which is 15 to 30, which is actually the time when you are building up your life. So you need inspiration, you need motivation to move on in your life, to do something big, better in your life. At least if not big, better or big, at least you are able to hold your life, you are able to run your life, you are able to help people around in your life, if not in the entire world. There are about a handful of people, or you yourself. So that was one reason that I think where I and the Vent Machine, the blog, connects quite well, because we want to actually bring in this awareness also that one excellent way of coming out of these problems of depression and of various physical or mental disorders or diseases is to read about or to know about people who have actually led that life. They've been through that physical stress, they have been through that physical disability, they have been through that mental disability or a mental disorder and have come out beautifully from it. They've overcome the problem and are now leading beautiful mainstream life. They are actually the source of greatest inspiration, not the regular biographies of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and the Tatas and the Birlas and the Ambanis. Am I connecting with you guys? Because the camera is too far from here. I cannot come in and type in and I can actually communicate with you. So it's quite far off. So that's the reason that I'm asking you. I'll probably be sharing this on other forums also, on other groups also, this particular video. So that is basically the reason, I feel that this blog and my thought process behind this series matches perfectly. Now, talking about what can people in journal, seek from this series. So you will be getting to read about wonderful stories of people who you have never heard about probably, because they are, though they are amongst you only and are not very famous, or probably they don't, they are not known in the entire country or in the entire world. But yes, they are known to a lot of people around, and a lot of people, when they see them, struggling and then overcoming those problems, they feel great about that person. So when I'm going to publish this on this particular platform, this international blog called The Vent Machine by Surabhi Pandey, millions of readers are going to read about this. And maybe when they read about this story, a lot of them probably would actually find this is a forum wherein they can actually, come up to us and, ask us to tell their stories. Because there are a lot of people who are so inspiring. But the only reason why their stories are not published is because everyone who would like to write the story about would be about a famous person. Because that's how probably that writer and that particular author would also become famous. But the objective is not inspiring people probably. Because, no, I don't say that those people are not inspiring enough. They are highly inspiring. The generations have got inspired from them. But then there are a lot of other people also who are enough inspiring. If not millions and billions of people they can inspire, they can at least inspire a handful of them. They can inspire, say, about 100 odd people, 50 odd people, maybe if not 50 or 100 odd people, they can inspire just about, say, 5 or 6 people. The people who are closest to them, they feel motivated because of that particular person who is trying to overcome that particular challenge in his life or her life. So that's where I feel that people who would read, who would follow this series, would find such stories wherein they can actually connect with people, because they are people from the common life, the common fraternity, the lesser known people, and probably few of those who I'm sure you will find, very near to you. Because I'm going to write about people who are actually living that struggle, trying to overcome that struggle, and amongst us. So that is what people can in journal expect from this particular series. What can readers? So I believe the last objective of this particular session was to talk about what can readers expect from this series. So the readers can expect biographies, memoirs, life stories of people who are real. Real people, real stories. And those stories which can actually inspire them to their core. Because these are the people who have that rock solid metal inside them, trying to overcome problems with their basic common means and still coming out wonderfully out of it. So readers can expect real stories. So while I was promoting these promoting about this particular series, somebody came back to me through a post, through a message. What do you mean by real people? So what do you mean by real people? So for me, real people are these people who are from a common life. The people who are great enough to be written about. People who are seeing real struggles of life. They have a physical disability, they have a physical challenge, they are going through some mental disorder, but they are still trying to come out of it with just the basic means they have. And of course, it's their family, it's the people around them, is the friend circle which they have that supports them to come out of it. But yes, one thing which they're continuously trying to do is that they are trying to live as normal a life as other people. So, and that is what is so inspiring about them. So, inspiration is not only about achieving $1 million or $1 billion of net worth. It is not about building businesses which are billion and trillion worth of billion or trillion dollar worth. Probably, companies like Amazon or Facebook or, so many companies. It is also about inspiring yourself to fight with your life, with the basic challenges in your life, and then overcome them. So that is what the readers can expect, nice real stories, biographies, memoirs of the real people. So the real story and the real people. That is what, is the objective of this particular series. And after 25th December, we're coming out with the second story on 26th of January, which will be the Republic Day. So the next 10 months, we've got 10 stories, including December. After December, you've got 9 more stories to go. And I'm meeting such people. I've already identified the first 5 people. And the rest I would actually be meeting very soon, And at the same time, we are inviting any such story, you can always come back to us. You can write to us. I'm going to tell you about where you can write. You can write on my email ID. You can connect with me and with any of my social media handles. I am available on Facebook. I am on Twitter. You can just type in the name and find out. I would say this particular timeline on which we are, which is a Facebook timeline, and the Twitter and on the Instagram, and on my website, which is ajitkpanikar.com, www.ajitkpanikar.com. And of course, the blog, the platform which I'm talking about, which is the Vent Machine. So you can always go on and type the Vent Machine on Google search and find out the blog, the Vent Machine by Surabhi Pandey, and wherein you will find a particular section wherein these life stories would get published every month. Please, as a matter of promotion, and as a matter as the reason behind this objective, is very noble, and we are trying to make it bigger. Right from this first story. So we both, the Vent Machine and the life stories by Ajit Panikar, request you all to like, share, comment, and subscribe all of our social media handles, and be available whenever the story is published on the Vent Machine. We would be sending all kinds of posts and promotions and links to the people around. If you really find it inspiring, please do share it with the people around. Talk about this with people. Share it on the social media. Subscribe our channel, our website, and you would get to read much more better things other than this life stories by Ajit also, So on the Vent Machine, you can find much more, much more different kinds of, stuff which you can read and, talk about. So that is what I was here for this live session. So the thing is, if you have any question which is going on in your mind, which you want to talk about, which you want to ask about, you can always do that. So I am going behind the camera now, and I'm going to answer you. If required, just type in. I can see few questions, and I will be back here on this particular stage, and I would be talking about that particular question. I would be giving the answer to that question. So if you have any question, just type in. So type in your questions, please. I am behind the camera, and I need your questions if you have any. I am going to answer them right there. I'll go back there because it's me who is actually managing this camera also. So if you have any questions, do ask me. I am going to answer them. I can see Ajay Kant watching this. Surabhi, thanks a lot. You're here. I'm sorry that I tried this on the page, but somehow I thought that was not working there. So I am here on the timeline. I completely agree, Surabhi. We are going to do a good job. We are going to rock, and we are going to tell people what this life stories by Ajit is all about. Okay, Satyendra Rawat says, I've been struggling to find a voice where I write. Suggest me to fix this. Okay, Satyendra, we'll try to come back to you and tell you about where you can write. But yes, if you have anybody who has a story, who has something which is very inspiring, which is inspiring enough to at least, inspire few people around, I would love to write a story about. So Navneet Chauhan, thank you. Abhay Bardwaj, thank you. Tarun Baluja, thank you. Mohan Sharma is watching, thank you. So Purvi, thank you. Faiz Khan is watching, thank you. Thank you, all of you, thank you. So I want people to ask questions. Thank you, all of you. I am behind the camera. I am almost through with this session. If you have any questions, you can always ask me. You can write it here. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, so somebody said that he has a question for me. So what is it? So type in your question. I'll go there right in front of you and answer that particular question. So I have one question. What keeps you going? So Surabhi is asking me, I have one question. What keeps you going? What gives you the strength to be so proactive round the clock? Your books, your blogs, motivation speaking, who's your inspiration? Okay, Surabhi, thank you. If nobody else but you who has asked this question. So what keeps me going? What motivates me for all the hours I am awake? Yes, so I am basically a trainer. I am a behavioral trainer, but at the same time, I write as a professional. I can say that I am I'm trying to become a professional writer. I would still say that I'm an amateur because I'm trying to learn. But yes, what motivates me is that I have to actually, whatever, if I'm talking about is motivating me to write upon, then it is my own psyche which says, my own passion which says that I have to write. So because writing is something which can help you vent out, which can help you express yourself. So for a very long time in my life, I tried reading only, to come out of the problems in my life, because people say books are the best friends. But somehow I feel that it's okay to feel good about yourself by, probably changing your mood by reading a book. But then if I have to actually come out of it, then writing is something which can help you out. So it depends upon what kind of writing you are writing. But even if you are writing a fiction, even that engages your mind. You think about things which are different from your problems in your life. So even a fiction, not only a non-fiction, but even a fiction can help you come out of your problems in life, because you tend to think about plots, you tend to think about characters. So for that to happen, you have to have a stable mind. You have to have a mind which is peaceful, which is calm. So you will try to calm and soothe in your soul and calm yourself, and with which you can actually write some good stuff, some good stories. So what I was talking about was that I am not only writing this life stories by Ajit. There is one more series which I'm writing, which is again a 10-story series, which is on fiction. So after writing these 2 books, there are 2 more books which are a full-fledged novels, and one which is a non-fiction, which is basically a how-to book, a self-help book. So what motivates me is, you have to train your mind. So you have to tell yourself that you have to do this. So you have to be, I would say, you have to be persistently consistent. That's how you can actually, do something in your life. So, one of my in one of my recent programs, somebody asked me, what is it that how do we actually motivate ourselves to actually get up in the morning? So, if I'm talking about getting up in the morning to do something, the person said that, I am not able to form a routine. I'm not able to form a habit. So I would say to all of those people who try to go for a jog or for a run or for a swimming or in any activity, one has to initially, for the first 90 days at least, have to be there at that place at that point in time. So if I'm talking about writing, like I'm talking about jogging, you have to be there at that point in time, probably jogging, running, being in the gym, or at your writing seat on your chair. This is my writing seat. So I sit every day at 5:30 in the morning and write for 1.5 hours, and then I sit again at around 8:30 and write till about 10 o'clock, which usually happens about 4 or 5 days in a week. So that's how you have to keep yourself pushing. That's how you can do this. Any more questions? Thank you, Surabhi. So, Yogendra Kanojia, thank you for watching. Brajesh Singh, thank you for watching. I am behind the camera. Please type in your questions. Hello, Rajiv Singh. How are you? Hi, Mahi. How are you? Kevin De Costa, thank you, sir. This Kevin De Costa, sir, is my English teacher who used to teach me in my, he taught me from about, he taught me in class 9th and 10th. Thank you, sir, for watching this live. Thank you, Vinay. Thank you, Vinay Sharma. Thank you, Gagananand. Salim Abbasi is watching. Thank you, Sugandha. Sugandha happens to be my college mate. She was with me in my graduation. Thank you, Sugandha. Sanjay Sopori is one of my colleagues who have worked with me. Thank you, all of you who are watching this. Manish Koni, thank you for watching this live. You have any question which you want to ask about, which is about life stories by Ajit, or anything which you want to talk about, which is about this platform called the Vent Machine, please put in your question. Thank you, Jolly Uncle. Thank you for watching this video. I am behind the cameras, guys, because I am also typing at the same time. Thank you, Jolly Uncle. Jolly Uncle happens to be one of those writers who I feel is to be read. He has written about more than 35 books in English and Hindi. Jolly Uncle, thank you for watching this video. Ankit Bansal, you're watching. Okay, so all of those who have been watching this video, I would like to now sum up, because I would not take a lot of time of yours. It's already about, say, 30 odd minutes. So I would sum up. So the objective of this live stories by Ajit is to come out with stories of unsung heroes and sheroes, the memoirs and the biography type. I would be writing these stories. 10 months, 10 stories. Real people, real stories is what would be the hashtag. Real stories, real people inspired, and the hashtag life stories by Ajit. The same would get published every month on a blog, on an international blog called The Vent Machine by Surabhi Pandey. And the first story would get published on 25th December. The second is going to get published on 26th January, which is also a Republic Day, and you would really get excited to know that the next story, the story in January, is going to be about a major from army, a major who has actually served army in those times, in the areas wherein he has to actually go through about seven bullet shots. There were 7 times in his career as in the army, he was shot, and he saved himself, and he rocked, and he has done a wonderful job while being in the army. Now he is out because it was a short service commission. He is now out. So that would be the second story. This is the reveal which I'm doing about the story which would be published on 26th of January, the Republic Day. And I was also talking about the Vent Machine, the reason for collaborating with the Vent Machine. The Vent Machine is one blog wherein I feel somehow the internal wiring, my inner wiring is somehow similar to this particular blog and that of the curators, the founder, Surabhi Pandey, because she is writing stories, she's writing and meeting people, interviewing people who are similar, who have some great stuff to talk about to the world. Also, the presentation of the blog, probably if I have not spoken about the blog and the presentation about the presentation of the blog is really very nice. It's very exciting and very catchy, because of which I actually got attracted to that particular blog. And of course, the ideology and the thought process which I've been talking about. And for all the people who are going to read about the stories, for all the readers who are going to read about this story, I would request you again to please like, share, comment, and subscribe to all our social media channels, to our websites, the Vent Machine, and to my website, the official website, which is ajitkpandke.com, so that all of those stories which we publish come as soon as they are published. So that was one reason. Second reason is that if you promote and publish, you like and share these stories, there might be people who have stories to tell to the world, but they are not able to probably find the right forum, or probably with the right intensity, the right kind of people in their life, and that is the reason that their stories are not coming out. But everyone has a story. Everyone has a story to tell. Few among them from our common life are really very inspiring. So we want those stories. So anything else, if you have, I am coming for the last time behind the cameras. So if you have anything which you want to ask, please do so. So I am about to sum up. I am about to say bye to all of you. I am about to say goodbye. So I would be coming for the last time there on that platform and saying goodbye. So thank you for watching this live of life stories by Ajit, which was to talk about the reasons behind this concept, life stories by Ajit, about the platform where it would get published, about the founder who is running that particular platform, and about the people whose stories it would get published. Thank you all of you for watching this live. I would soon be sharing this video to all of the groups. Whoever has missed to see this live session can always watch this video later. But guys, thank you for watching and motivating me. I would take your leave. Take care. Bye-bye.